Hey there, this is Kurtron, and this is your Bourbon Boy Advent Tasting Podcast. We pulled together some of our favorite picks to share with you as we count down to this year's Christmas. We hope you get a chance to taste some of these great bourbons as you enjoy this holiday season. Bourbon on.
And I'm glad that we're back with you guys because this is going to be a fun night because this is a distillery that actually is located here in North Carolina, just north of where we live. And I'm going to let Derek and Alton kind of take us away on them since they are the ones who discovered this. So let's get started and tell us what's up first, guys.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we got two single barrel here from Southern Distilling up at the crossroads of I-77 and I-40 in Statesville, North Carolina. So it is fairly close. And actually, Derek and I took a road trip up there a couple weeks and spent some time with one of the owners, Vienna Barger. So excited to be here tasting these and talking about the local North Carolina spirits.
You know, Alton and I went up and we visited Southern Distillery, and this is where Southern Star comes from. And cool place. You know, they do not only their own distilling, but they also barrel for others. So they just purchased I think 6 more stills.
Yep.
And or tanks, and they are expanding their warehouse. So it's remarkable. It just, you know, this hidden gem. A good mix of state-of-the-art, all new stuff combined with, you know, the tradition and big copper stills, which go back to, you know, way back in the 17s and 18s in Statesville. Yeah,
something that I think Vienna mentioned while we were there, and we were kind of digging around a little bit. Apparently, Statesville at one time was quite the hot spot for spirits and liquor, and I don't know who proclaimed this, if it was self-dubbed or whatever, but there are some who refer to Statesville as having been the liquor capital of the world in the late 1880s. So for those of us who haven't been to Statesville, I'm not sure I saw that coming.
Not at all.
But the legend has it, or the story has it, that one of the first settlers in Statesville was an Irishman named Fergus Sloane. Everybody say Fergus.
Fergus.
And it was believed that he came to Iredell in about 1750, purchased some land in 1755, and later, as he was moving on, sold some of the acreage to the town, which later became known as Statesville. But apparently he had a still in Philadelphia that he sent was brought down here, and the first copper pot still in North Carolina was allegedly in Statesville, North Carolina.
Oh, that's cool.
Homegrown.
Do they have that original still?
They do not.
I don't think so.
Nope. Okay. But they have some pretty impressive new stills. I mean, the one of them is like I forget what they called it. It was Big Mama or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what they were. Yeah.
It's affectionately named, and it is enormous. And they do, like, if you're in the Charlotte area or maybe the Winston area, you're about an hour and change north of Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably the same from Winston. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the area, definitely swing by, check them out, see when they're open. But they'll do tours. They do like a full in-depth multi-hour tour where you get to see the actual distilling. Then they do a kind of a manufacturing tour where it's just about an hour-long quick walk around the floor and learn all about it. And then they do what she calls a tractor tour. And they basically walk you around the merchandising, and the center of it is a tractor.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So they do some great tastings. They've got a bar there, and I believe that they just got their license, too, to be able to serve.
Mm-hmm. And before it was just for tasting, but now they can actually serve cocktails and concoctions.
You certainly can't miss the facility when you're driving north up 77.
No.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're in the area, definitely swing by. We've been there a couple times now, and the last time we were up there, Deb and I went in the summer. We popped in for a little day trip.
You missed the invite, Kurt, again.
Yeah. You weren't. Oh, that's right. You weren't with us. And then Alton and I went up about a month ago, and that's when he and I both picked up the single barrel because I think we had the standard. Bourbon
early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And they have, so their lineup is they have White Dog. So their white bourbon comes right off the still, and that is jet fuel. Great to mix with. So they have a few bartenders there that can do some pretty awesome mixed cocktails. Then they have the Standard, which is available, and I think they're saying the distribution is about 6 states right now. So it's pretty limited in its distribution. A lot of restaurants will pick it up in the area. But they have the Standard, which is a blended, and then they have the single barrel, which is pretty tasty. We've got 2 of those here tonight, and they had a reserve, and that went quick. And I think that they were surprised at how in demand that one was. And then we'll finish off tonight with a bourbon cream double shot, which is pretty amazing too. So for a small little place, they got a lot going on, and like I said, their facilities are expanding. I think people are seeing their capabilities and wanting to use them for some of their overruns that they have from some other brands.
That's cool. So what they're selling now are all blends.
Yep.
But then they've got barrels on shelves that they've distilled.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So as a young distillery, you've got to have that minimum of 4 years in a barrel for it to be your own.
Yep.
But right out of the gate, and talking with Vienna, I think she's a chemist and Pete's an engineer by trade, and I'd love to find out what their story is, and hopefully we can get them on an episode soon.
Yeah, we need to go up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to them.
For sure.
Yeah, a lot of enthusiasm and very open to hosting events and all that. So
cool.
As Derek mentioned, I think their distribution is about 6 states now.
Yep.
So you can find it in local liquor stores or just stop by the distillery. I think it's about a $55 bottle or so.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. All
So
right.
what are we trying here?
This is the Standard.
the Standard.
This is the Standard.
All right.
And the interesting thing is, when we're doing our research, we had the advantage of being, nearby to be able to ask them, what goes into it, which is, unusual for us to be able to have that conversation. Hard to find anything online. I think a lot of people are looking for reviews on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so we had some pretty short conversations, but they were really insightful for how they get their blends. But for the Standard, I don't remember what the mash bill was on these. And
I don't either. I'm not even sure.
I mean, if it's a blend, they might not even know.
True.
that's true, too.
True.
Yeah, usually in a blend, it's just
I like
hard
it.
to nail.
It's good.
I like it. It's got a bit of a bite in the on the tongue and the top of the mouth, but it goes down really smooth. But it does sit with you for a while.
It does. I like the finish.
Yeah, the
This
finish
is one.
good.
I remember a few episodes ago we talked about bourbons for people that have never really tried bourbon. It's kind of a first one,
Yep.
and this one feels much in line for that.
Yeah.
It's sweet, which I think is probably a good taste for somebody that's just getting into it. It's got a little bit of a bite, so they kind of know, hey, if I want to step up and try something stronger, I can, but this is kind of what it might taste like.
Yep.
It's good.
What's the proof on this one?
I think they're all 90 proof.
Okay.
Yeah, all 3 tonight are going to be 90 proofs.
Okay. I really like the taste. I think it is smooth. It's got a good bite to it, but I'm getting a little bit of, not getting a ton of oak. I'm getting a little bit of oak. I'm getting some of the vanilla caramel lime with the sweetness.
You're getting the caramel, but it's not super sweet.
No.
It's kind of good. It's got a nice flavor, but it's not overly sweet.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit of a weight to it. So when it just kind of lingers on my tongue, it feels there's a little weight to it. I don't know how to describe that.
That could be the drugs.
The fourth L.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
The fourth L.
You don't feel it?
Lorazepam.
Or lorazepam, libation, all that stuff.
Life and lore. No, I think that might be because of the 90 proof. It doesn't have that 100 plus, which is going to give you that quick evaporation.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to wrap around your tongue a little bit longer.
Yeah, see, Dave.
Yeah. So we talk about these guys being relatively new to the bourbon game. I mean, just by sheer timing, I think they were founded in 2013, I think. And by the time they got facilities built, I mean, the awesome thing is, as you mentioned, they're adding a second warehouse facility and more distilling equipment. So they're doing well. I think we've all watched Neat.
Yep.
Which, if you guys haven't seen that, I think it's on Hulu. Is that where you're?
No.
I think it is.
Can you elaborate on that?
I think it's
that's
Hulu.
It's
right.
on
Amazon.
Prime Video.
Yeah,
Oh,
Amazon
okay.
Prime and Hulu.
It's in a couple of places.
All right.
Yeah.
It's in multiple places, so it's not hard to find. But it really goes into the
It's not on
history
Hulu,
of
though.
bourbon.
Yeah.
What were the surprising takeaways for you guys from, because we've all watched it now, anything that stuck out about the history of bourbon?
When dark liquors or dark spirits pretty much were nothing, you know? And I think about that time when when I was growing up, my dad would drink brandy old fashions all the time. Bourbons really weren't a thing. They probably existed, but you know, there really wasn't anything around it. But it became very soon, like in the 80s, 90s, all about all the white liquors. Mm-hmm. And it was like the vodkas and the
Gins and
the gins and the martinis and all that. We had all kinds of martini bars all over the place. And then suddenly that started to kind of play down, and that's when the bourbon stuff started to really come up. And I think it had to do with like the craft, like your craft breweries, and then suddenly the craft behind making bourbon. The one thing there were two things. One was in that show, what they talked about is that everything in bourbon is natural.
Right.
Like it's all real stuff.
Right.
But then the other kind of cool line, which I texted to you guys, is that let's always remember it's not about the bourbon.
What is it about?
It's about the friendship
There you go.
that gets shared through the bourbon.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway on it was just the kind of the history and the pride associated with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the folks that are in that industry, I mean, they couldn't do anything else. I mean, that's just what they do. Mm-hmm. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. So
I was amazed to learn about, and it makes sense. When you think about what it takes to make a bourbon, and how if they're all essentially using the same ingredients with slightly different proportions, how the flavor could be so different, and the contribution that the soil makes to the flavor.
right.
Whether it's soil for the oak tree, for the white American oak, for the barrels, whether it's the soil contribution to the flavor and the type of corn, whether it's the soil's contribution to the spice and the rye, like that unknown variable is it's kind of, everyone's playing with that same unknownness.
And even the storage, right?
Right.
The amount of heat and sunlight and
Even
humidity.
Within the same building.
Within the same building, right? Yeah. So it's pretty
weather,
fascinating.
all that.
Yeah. I was impressed in talking with Vienna at how many barrels they had currently in storage, and how many more were coming. So just as either Kurt, to your point, a recognition to the growth and the demand for bourbon, and that 4-year minimum wait before you find out if it worked. But also just the trust that other big brand distillers have in them to say, listen, you guys, you're part of this society. And it is something I think neat too. They talked about that it's a brotherhood that's not terribly competitive,
right?
Like everyone's sort of pulling for each other and not trying to cut each other out at the knees that maybe the beer industry would be doing, or the wine industry. So I think that they had a tremendous sense of pride themselves in being recognized by other well-established brands as, you've earned your stripes. Can you help us take care of some of our barreling?
Yep.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, they're actually barreling the bourbon and storing it for other distillers?
Yeah, a large percentage of their business is not only, and I think they were doing other spirits other than just bourbon, but they do basically overflow for other partners, I believe.
Okay.
And then some who are maybe just starting up that don't have facilities yet, they're taking their recipe.
They're stainless steel tanks of bourbon going up and down our highways.
Perhaps.
Wow.
I would
Ocean's
expect
11,
like a police escort.
Yeah. Or a Bourbon Boys escort.
There you go. Yeah. Happy to take them for the team.
From all of us Bourbon Boys, we want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bourbon on.